Good morning, Monday Sportif fans. We are on episode 6 of our Euro 2024 preview series, covering all things Spain with some special guests from the team today. There's going to be some interesting takes along the way about Saka and Lamine, also some interesting opinions about Albania and their role in the group. Definitely not one to be missed. Neither to be missed is our other Euro 2024 preview series. So do like and subscribe for the rest of that. Cut to
Alex, Lebox and Toby for episode 5 of our Euros episode 6. Sorry, we did the Georgia preview. No discredit to Georgia. Episode 6. Wow, we are really racking them up. Spain, I'll come to you, Toby, first because you're in Spain. 3 wins in a row, obviously from 2008 to 2014. And then nothing since. Not even got out of round 16 other than the Euros in London. Is tiki-taka football dead, and what will rise in the ashes of it?
I mean, yeah, it fell apart a bit, didn't it? But I think there's signs that this year they could be coming back. I mean, the last Euros they weren't so bad, were they? But yeah, looking at the squad now, I think Spain they're back. I think they're back, and this could be their year.
Well, let's get into that squad. I'm happy to hear from both of you on this. We've got players like Lamine. Is it Lamine or Yamin?
Lamine Yamal.
Lamine Yamal, yeah. Lamine, I was right. Lamine, Grimaldo, Porro in the right-back positions. That's going to be a great one for them, a great position to get forward in. You've got players like Isco making a reconnaissance, a renaissance. You could call it an Isconnaissance, even. You've got Ramos that is sort of flirting with coming back into the setup. You've got Kabasi that could come in. What do you make of it all?
Listen, before we go on, I want to butt in very quickly and just go back to what you and Toby just said there, Harry, about Spain coming from this real moment of joy for Spanish football in those years. I think it was between 2008 and 2012, where they just looked unstoppable. They had a team full of absolute winners. I mean, if you look through the list, you've got players like Puyol, Piqué, Busquets, David Villa, Iniesta, Xavi, to name a few. World Cup winners. And to drop off the cliff like they did was I don't know, you've been out in Spain, Toby, I suppose, with the national team. It's been a bit of a shock, perhaps. But as we touch on this squad for this season, or certainly for this tournament, they've got a team full of winners again. Yes, it's a different shape, it's a different colour, it's a different style to what we've seen from Spain. But you've just mentioned, Harry, players like Grimaldo, who's playing fantastic for Leverkusen. And you mentioned other players in there like Yamal breaking into the Barcelona team, Kabasi breaking into the Barca team as well. We're looking at a team of winners again for Spain, aren't we, Toby?
Yeah, I think you can say that, but then also, I mean, are they winners? They haven't done anything yet, have they? Even, I mean, you're talking about Barca players, Yamal and Kabasi. I mean, Kabasi's literally broken through this season, and Barcelona aren't going to win anything this year. Yamal came in last season; they won La Liga. And this season, on a personal level, he's been great. He's been incredible. When you watch, if you get to watch Yamal play, I mean, I think people will see him. He'll be one of the breakout stars this Euros. I've got no doubt about it, because he's got a very similar game to Bukayo Saka, to be honest. Like the way he takes that ball on the right-hand side and he gets at player. He just wants to run at people, run at them and put them in as much trouble as possible. And he's 16 years old. It is incredible. It's scary how good he is. I mean, he makes Saka look average, to be honest. At the age Saka was at. He's at the level Saka's at right now, and he's 6 years younger than Saka, to be honest.
Yeah, he's incredible. But just one more name to add to that. This is Rodri. I missed Rodri out. I mean, we're talking about potentially one of the best players in the world at the moment with Rodri, aren't we?
Yeah, I think the thing with Rodri is obviously...
Sorry.
Yeah, you obviously talk about winners. I think the thing with Rodri is he didn't want to play for City for some of the season, and he really... I mean, his game is so all-encompassing in terms of his responsibilities and maybe the mental concentration as well. Is it going to be difficult for him? I look at that Real squad as well. They've got a Champions League final on the 1st of June, and then they've got a kickstart against Spain and against Croatia and Italy. First 2 games. They've got to be absolutely phenomenally mentally prepared. Mentality monsters.
Yeah, Toby, what's the vibe out in Spain? What are people? Is there a sort of bit of excitement around the squad? Are people sort of over the past sort of, I don't know how many tournaments? Is it 3 or 4 tournaments? Are people a little bit sort of down in the dumps around the national team at the moment?
No, I wouldn't say so at all. To be honest, there's a big excitement how good they are now, and when you look at how they performed in the last World Cup, they were nearly there. They were getting there. And I think now we've got to that stage where the younger players are coming through. A few of them have really come on in the last few years. The only problem they've got is that some of these young players, Gavi, for example, Gavi from Barcelona, he should have been one of their real key players in this tournament, but he looks like he's going to miss out with injury. He might go, but I can't see it happening, to be honest, the amount he's been injured lately. Pedri, barely been fit all season. Another one who he broke through before a couple of years ago. And now he's struggled with fitness for the last 2 years, really. So I feel like they would love to be at that stage where these players were really sort of doing it for the national team. But at this point, they look like they're going to be really inexperienced again going into the tournament. But excitement-wise, I think people are more excited about this tournament because they're at a stage now where like they've got some of the best young players in Europe, and if they click, as I say, they could be a real danger for the other teams in the tournament.
Yeah, it's a real crash and burn situation. I feel like they're more likely to thrive and strive though than crash and burn with that first 2 games. Because you mentioned the talent, and you saw with England. I know, obviously, you said that Lamine isn't at the same level as Saka was at that age, but even Saka had a phenomenal Euros last time around for his breakout year in the England jersey, and there was a great optimism and a great vibe about the Southgate kind of opening the taps to that youth talent. And if the same happens for Spain, I know it's obviously not a home tournament for them, they could wipe the floor with Croatia and Italy if everyone's on their game. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think Croatia and Italy, I don't think will scare Spain. I think Spain are definitely the favourites for this group. If anyone's going to crash and burn in that group, it will be Italy, because they've kind of got the potential to do that. And Croatia are, I mean, everyone thought they were going to be sort of past it by the last World Cup. They managed to have an incredible World Cup, to be honest. And I think Croatia are just a great tournament team, and they've still got Modric there. They've still got some good players. I think, my tip from this group: Spain to top it, Croatia to nip through in second. And Italy, I think, will be fighting out for 3rd or 4th.
Well, listen, what I think on it, I think you're looking at Croatia, like you said, Toby. Croatia, they're just a tournament side. They turn up to these tournaments. They tend to get to the latter stages, semi-finals, finals as well over the last couple of tournaments. I think it's, for me, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that I think Croatia will top the group. I think they've got that know-how. They've got Modric sitting in the centre there. With Spain and Italy, yes, we look at Italy. We mentioned a few players who have won things for their club. With Nico Williams at Bilbao and Grimaldo doing things with Leverkusen. Porro not so much with Tottenham, but we won't talk about that. I think Italy are a team at the moment who are extremely fragile, but they've got players in there who are big players. We're talking about the Barellas for Inter Milan. Locatelli, he had a very good Euros when Italy lifted the trophy last time out. And Locatelli is one of those players who seems to be, he's unfit for club football. And as soon as like a big competition comes around, he's suddenly sort of bouncing around the pitch and 50-yard runs into the opposition box. So they've also got the Argentine up front, who in his last couple of games for Italy, I think he's scored in both games. I think it's Retegui, or I can't pronounce his name properly, but certainly a player who's done well in Serie A. So I think Italy and Spain are going to be the ones fighting out for second place. I mean, I don't really give too much hope for poor old Albania in that group. It's a bit of a death group for them, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the Albanians know how to create an atmosphere, and they know how to get charged up in a tournament game and really have that passion and fire. I don't think a whipping boy situation. I don't think Albania are going to go over and lie down. So, yeah, I'd be very surprised if they get anywhere near going out of the group. But what they will do is be the kingmakers to that group. And if Albania can cause an upset along the way, knock some points off some teams, get a win over one of those two or three teams that are going to be competing, they could decide who goes through and who has an early exit out of the big boys. So don't write off Albania.
Good shout, Harry. Good shout, Harry.
I'm going to disagree. I think Albania will lose all their games. I think they will be the whipping boys of that group. Italy and Croatia will show that they're much better football teams than Albania will get. And I think they'll concede more than 5 goals in one of their games. I'm not going to say who against, but I think one of those teams will absolutely hammer them.
There we go. Harry, look, we're going to clip this one up just like we did with for Charles and Scotland, with me saying that Scotland are going to crash out of the competition. Just to touch off on my point about the group, I think it will be between Spain and Italy who comes second. I think Spain, like I mentioned, with players like Rodri, I think with their wing backs who have been extremely impressive for their clubs this year, I think they're going to have I think Spain are going to have a good tournament. I think they will fall behind Croatia. I think they'll just edge it against Italy. So, good hopes for Spain. The only question I want to ask you both is, up top, we've seen so many good strikers for Spain over the years with a certain Fernando Torres and players like Morientes, and there's a whole host of David Villa, for instance, strikers. At the moment, we look and it's Morata who seems to be leading the line. A strange career, obviously, with Chelsea and Juve, but he's sort of found his calling with Atletico Madrid, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think Marcelo would be a better option. Sorry, Toby, what were you going to say? I
was going to say that the viewpoint from over here, I mean, Morata is popular. People like Morata for his work rate, and actually, when you look at his stats, again, they're not bad. This year, he's in a bit of form. Joselu has been, I mean, yes, he did what he did last week for Real Madrid. It was incredible. And to be fair, since he's come into the national team, he's been pretty good. But I mean, I was actually in the Rosaleda in Malaga to see Joselu score 2 goals after coming off the bench, and it was like, oh my god, Joselu the saviour. So he's got that in him. But I think Joselu will be the super sub, and Morata will start for them. And it does just have that kind of that striker that's not good enough for the team. Like Morata's started for the last 2-3 tournaments for Spain. Everyone's written him off. He could prove everyone wrong, but from my point of view, no chance. Morata's not good enough. But
here, Harry,
over here, he's all right.
Here, Harry, he could score 6+ tournament goals. Manchester United will snap him up for 60+ million, and he'll flop in the Premier League. You never know. But...
Yeah, we did that with Amrabat, didn't we? He had a good World Cup, and then look at what he's done for United. Absolutely soddle.
Poor Harry. I mean, I can't say anything, Queen's Park Rangers supporter, but that's for another podcast, perhaps.
Any final thoughts on this Spain side? How far do you think they'll go, Toby?
One thing I wanted to add as well is that I really think we've talked a lot about the youth in the team. I think what Spain need to get is they need to get the balance, because they will not win this tournament. They will not go far in this tournament if they just name a load of kids. Even if those kids are great for the future, you do not win the way tournament football works as well. You need some old heads in there. So you've been talking you mentioned a few times about Grimaldo and Moro as the fullbacks. I actually think that maybe Dani Carvajal might be the better option at right back, because they need that kind of older head. They've got Rodri in the middle. He's been there, done it. He's the best player in his position in the world, without doubt for me. And then I think they need Carvajal. Maybe that's where Morata could be good, because he's that slightly older head up the top. But I think they need to have a mixture of these great younger players mixed in with these inexperienced players. Even a player like Grimaldo, he's 28 years old, but he's not experienced at international level at all. So they need to find those players that have played a lot of games for the Spanish national team. As I said, Morata, Rodri and Carvajal primarily. And another reason why Unai Simon probably has to start in goal, he's got a lot of experience for the national team, whereas David Raya, he showed against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. He was a bit dodgy in those games. And I think the pressure would get to Raya if he started in the Euros. So that's another reason why I don't think he should play.
We can't be saying that about an Arsenal goalkeeper. Come on. But I mean, just my final points. I think there's reason to be optimistic supporting Spain in this Euro 2024. I think, like Toby just said, you've got a nice balance in there of experience and extreme youth. Looking at Yamin, is he 16 and he's playing regularly in the national team. And it's pretty incredible. I watched him play the full match. I think he started against PSG as well for Barcelona, and he's just so dangerous. Like Toby said, he's like a Saka sort of esque player. He runs at people. He's dangerous. He's very, very direct. And I think with players like him in the squad, and Nico Williams, who's just been fantastic for Bilbao, I think it gives Spain a lot of optimism going into this competition. If they can look good in the early stages, who knows? If Morata gets that 6+ goal tally in that contract with Manchester United, it could be a fantastic tournament for Spain.
Well, I'll finish off from my end. Obviously, if anyone else has any final opinions, do slot in. But I was going to say, Morata getting 6 goals and being the Golden Boot is as likely as us being City in the final in the FA Cup.
I'd like to add one more thing. Harry, you mentioned right at the beginning of the podcast about Isco, the Isconaissance, or whatever you call it. Isconaissance. I'd say Isco this season in La Liga has been incredible. He's won the Man of the Match award 18 out of the 28 games he's featured in. And for most Spanish fans now, he has to go. He has to go to the Euros. And for a lot of people now, he has to start because he's been incredible. And that probably goes along with my theory before. They need some more experienced heads in there. I think he'd give them that experienced head. He's someone that's been there, done it with Real Madrid. He's a top player, and he's back to the level that we saw from him 6 years ago. So I think he should probably start for them.
Well, listen, Toby, you're out in the wilds of Malaga. You've got that beautiful España crimson jersey on. Final thoughts: are they going to win Euro 2024? Are they going to bring those glory days back?
Despite everything I've said, I think France and England are better teams. But I do think Spain will get to the semi-finals. That's my call. Semi-finals and a close exit to one of the above teams. We'll see.
Good shout.
Thanks very much, gents. Pleasure to have you both on. And as ever, we are regularly on Monday Sportif, the three of us, along with Charles and Tops. So do like and subscribe, hit the socials. They'll be in the description. Thank you very much.